Drivers and Danica, start your engine!
Pull those belts down tight one more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks and let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula 1, and Formula E racing talk. This is the fastest hour in radio.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. Holy cow! Chase Elliott is going to become the NASCAR Nationwide Series champion for 2014.
For the second year in a row, Matt Crafton is the Camping World Truck Series champion.
3 times he has been denied an IndyCar championship. Well, not anymore. Will Power is an IndyCar champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, our 2014 FIA Formula 1 World Champion, Lewis Hamilton.
Here's your host, Steve West and Justin Harbour.
Oh, so close to Christmas time.
Stop.
No, hang on.
Okay.
As we look at that means we're closer to New Year's.
Yeah, well.
And we're closer to get back into racing.
Yeah, but there's, those hurdles that are there in between us and February.
But the closer we get to these little hurdles, then we get to the big prize at the end.
Did you just call Christmas a little hurdle?
For me, it is. This year, thankfully. My wife and I have things taken care of.
Oh.
I'm going to say that you probably don't.
You know, I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate a lot.
Aha.
And every year I go, I'm going to do it this year.
See, my wife does not have that problem. So we're covered.
Uh-huh.
Mostly she did it. Gage, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Let's
You ready
go.
for Christmas?
Yes, I'm very ready.
What is this?
It's all you, man.
It's all me.
It's you.
I'm about halfway done with my Christmas shopping.
Okay, see, I feel
He's
better.
got time.
I got a little bit to do.
I have several things.
The good thing is you do have time.
Yeah.
But it's getting here quickly.
Well, see, my problem is this. It's not the fact that I don't want to go Christmas shopping.
It's that you don't want to go Christmas shopping.
It's that I don't want to go Christmas shopping and then drag everything from Alabama to Maryland.
That's
so,
right, too, because
so got to do the free sales tax.
Right after the show today, or next week.
Next week.
Right after the show next week, you're hitting the road.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm on the road.
And then he has to do the show by phone for the next 2 weeks.
If I can keep a signal.
You better. That's all I got to say. Expecting 2 guests on the show later on today. Of course, we got Late Model Mark, and we've got a gentleman that you came across. When did you come across him, by the way?
You know, it was really funny this week. I was down at work, at where I work at.
Yeah,
and
your regular job.
In my regular job. And this gentleman walked into the station. He's radio background and all. And we were sitting there talking about the station and, showing him around and all that. And as he was leaving, I caught something that he said.
Okay.
He said that he works as the track announcer at Penton Raceway.
All right.
And it didn't dawn on me for a second because I was in work mode.
Sure.
But then I said, wait a second. So I walked outside with him as I kept talking to him. And I said, you're the track announcer at Penton? And he says, yes. I said, this is a small world. I said, because we were just talking about the fact here on our racing show that we do each week that we want to start talking to some more of the local dirt tracks and, the local tracks and stuff. And so I got his information. He called me up. He gave me a call before the show. We're going to have him on here in a little bit talking about Penton Raceway as well. 15
to 20 minutes from now, we'll be talking to him. Penton Raceway, by the way, for those of you that don't know, it's in Lafayette, Alabama.
Yes,
So
Clint from Penton.
We'll talk about that coming up in just a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't resist this. And we're not going to go into full details because obviously this happened over a couple of nights and everything like that. But because we have a lack of racing in the series that we talk about, I figured we'd go ahead and talk about this.
Okay.
The Snowball Derby.
Yes.
We've talked about the Snowball Derby several times on this show. For example, just last week had Margaret from Hoover call in. She let us know what was going on. So did Late Model Mark from Talladega Short Track. And, of course, we've talked several times about how 2-3 years ago, I forget which one it was, Eric Jones beat out Kyle Busch in the race at Pensacola, Florida's Five Flag Speedway. Ended up getting signed on to drive for his KBM Motorsports. And now he is moving up. He's the Camping World Truck Series champion at the ripe old age of 18.
Yeah.
And he's now moving up to Joe Gibbs Racing and the Xfinity Series next year. This year's winner of the Snowball Derby, not going to get discovered like that because, well, he's already set to drive in the Sprint Cup Series in 2016. Your winner of the 2015 Snowball Derby is the 2014 now Xfinity Series champion, Chase Elliott. but not without a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, just a touch.
Winner of the 2015 Mud Summer Classic at Eldora Speedway, Christopher Bell. He was the one that actually crossed the finish line first. However, he experienced tech issues that hampered his ability to pass inspection, so his entry disqualified, and he therefore ends up not first, not second, not 10th, not 15th, not 20th. He ends up 37th.
Wow.
From first to 37th, and Chase Elliott gets the win. It's Elliott's actually second Snowball Derby win. He got his first back in 2011, so congratulations to him. All right, as we look ahead, never too early to look ahead, by the way, to
Of course
2016.
not. Yeah.
Westgate Hotel and Casino out in Las Vegas got the sports book out there. They're one of the few that actually deal with NASCAR.
Right.
They've laid down odds as to who could end up being your 2016 Sprint Cup Series champion.
I love this part.
Care to guess who the favorite might be?
I've already looked at it, so.
Oh, okay, so you already know.
Yeah.
It's your guy.
That's right.
2014 title holder Kevin Harvick listed as a 5-1 favorite. Kyle Busch is 7-1 to repeat as champion. He's even with Joey Logano and Jimmy Johnson. If Jimmy Johnson were to win it, by the way, keep in mind, it would be his 7th title, which would tie him with the legends and Hall of Famers Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Richard Petty. The question becomes, we know he is consistently making the chase.
Yeah.
Is his time done?
You know, I've kind of started thinking about that because if you look at the past 2 years, he has not fared well in this new chase setup.
Right.
So it's kind of like a whole new
The
ball
eliminator
game.
format has not
Just
treated him well.
does not work well for him. He's always had that chance to rebound with the prior chase.
Right.
If there's been an issue, you had a chance to rebound. With this
Yes.
new chase, you have to be almost flawless the whole way through.
There is no such thing as a mulligan anymore.
Yeah, there's no more mulligans, and we saw that with Joey Logano this year.
Yeah.
Saw him win 3 in a row, get wrecked out there at Martinsville, couldn't come back from that, and next following week, another issue. So for Jimmy Johnson, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say he's not going to get that 7.
Going to stay at 6. All right, here we go. From 7-1, you mentioned him, Matt Kenseth. 8-1, even with Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, teammate Denny Hamlin, and Kurt Busch can be had at 12-1 odds. Dale Earnhardt Jr. given 15-1 odds.
That's an odd one. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, odds, but it is
Yeah.
a really weird one.
It's a strange number, no doubt.
That is.
Kyle Larson and the soon-to-be retiring Tony Stewart in his final season, he gains 30-1 odds, which is better than what I would have figured he would have gotten. For those of you that are curious, the worst odds that are specific to a driver belong to the one, the only Danica Patrick. 500-1 odds.
Here's my question. How many people actually just go put like $1 on Danica Patrick out in Vegas?
If I happen to be in Vegas, I would be honest with you, just for the giggles of it, I'd put $10 down.
Would you admit it right here on the show?
Absolutely, I would. $10, okay? Knowing the fact that you're probably going to lose because odds are set to favor the house.
Oh, yes.
Okay, but at 500-1, if you put $10 down and it comes in, not that it will, I come away with $5,000.
Yeah, but she's going to let you down.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. Her chances of even making the chase, in my mind, are more than 500-1. Much less winning the title.
I'd rather put odds on how many cars she'll wreck.
But for 500-1, I'd be willing to put down $10.
Yeah, I would.
Because $10 isn't, in the end, that big of a deal. Now, you start to talk about adding another zero onto it. Now we're saying, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, if it's over $10, I'm saying no.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
happening.
By the way, you get better odds with just the field. This encompasses all drivers that are not given specific odds. Okay? And we're going to talk about a couple of them here in just a minute. So we're not talking about Dale Jr. or Kevin Harvick or Kyle Busch or Jimmy Johnson or Carl Edwards, any of the people that I named.
Everybody
And there
else.
are others that are given odds specifically.
Right.
If they're not listed on that board, you can take them at 100-1 odds.
So you have all those drivers who still can't amount to a 500-1 odd.
There you go.
Wow.
This is going to come as a surprise to absolutely nobody. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is officially declared for the 13th season in a row the Sprint Cup Series' most popular driver. Voting began about midway through the 2015 season, done by the fans of the sport. Earnhardt was presented with the National Motorsports Press Association's Most Popular Driver Award last Friday night at the Sprint Cup Awards ceremony. Extends his record streak of consecutive wins. Earnhardt said that he thought that 2 other drivers had a chance to win it, though.
Yeah, we did too.
First cited the retiring 4-time Cup champion Jeff Gordon, said, quote, "I thought Jeff was going to win it, to be honest with you, his last year." And then he added that it was possible another driver could have pulled out an upset, citing Matt Kenseth for his slamming of the former driver of the number 20 Toyota Camry, Joey Logano, into the Martinsville Speedway wall November the 1st. The NMPA did not release the entire voting tally, so it's actually unknown how close the voting was, if it was close at all.
Well, we talked about it right here on the show. We were talking about when it was coming time for that, and we were talking about you could go vote and everything.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that, man, it would really be cool to see Jeff Gordon get it on his way out,
Would
but then
be
it would
nice.
break the streak. And,
Sure.
But it was worth it.
I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this case, because obviously he's a teammate, and this year, not that I think it's going to happen either, but he's good friends with Tony Stewart. I think he would willingly let a Jeff Gordon or a Tony Stewart have that title because of his friends and the recognition of what they've done.
Yeah.
Again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to win 14th straight coming up next year.
He's going to win them even past that. Junior Nation.
He'll win it until he retires.
You know what? Well, yeah. It's going to, it might not be too long from now.
He is kind of
thinking.
He's going down that road.
Everybody's starting to think.
Because he's right about the same age as Jeff Gordon, as Tony Stewart. He's looking at it and going, what am I going to do? I mean, he's been talking about, what am I going to do when I step away from Sprint Cup Series racing? He's looking at it.
I'm sure there's plenty of other things he wants to do outside of racing.
We'll talk about one of those coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, we will.
Front Row Motorsports has nailed down one of their 2016 drivers. Roush Fenway Racing, they have created an alliance with that team, and they're lending their 2015 Xfinity Series champion, Chris Buescher, to Front Row Motorsports. So he will actually be able to drive full-time in the Sprint Cup Series for 2016, and he will be eligible for Rookie of the Year as well. Front Row Motorsports said Buescher's going to drive the number 34 Ford Fusion, same car he drove in 6 events in this past season as the Kyle Busch injury that created the musical chairs among several drivers. Front Row Motorsports is expected to drop from 3 cars down to 2 coming up in 2016. Organization says that they will announce their second driver at a later date. Some people on the inside are thinking it likely will be Brett Moffitt, 2015 Sprint Cup Series Rookie of the Year, but nothing is confirmed at this time.
That's a heck of a team right there.
It would be. Pretty good team. Young.
Yeah.
A little bit inexperienced. Big learning curve. But, yeah, I mean, if they could keep that couple of drivers together for a while, who knows? And an alliance with, granted, Roush Fenway Racing is not what it used to be. It's certainly past its heyday. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe the alliance, maybe the exchange of ideas might be a good thing.
It's
for
a
Roush
possibility.
Fenway Racing and Front Row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Friday, the day after it was announced that Front Row Motorsports had signed Buescher, Richard Petty Motorsports has announced who they are going to get to drive their number 9 Ford Fusion. They've poached Brian Scott from Richard Childress Racing to take the seat over. Scott's been full-time in what is now the Xfinity Series for the past 6 years. He claims no wins, but he does have 20 top 5 finishes over that time. Also over that time, he'd been a part-time driver for the number 33 Chevy SS, a car co-owned by Richard Childress Racing. No sponsorship has been announced, but it is thought that Albertsons, which is a regional grocery store, actually could be that choice. Brian Scott's father, Joe, is heir to that company. Scott will replace Sam Hornish Jr. Sam Hornish Jr., after his second go-round in the Sprint Cup Series, has not announced his plans. We don't even know whether he's going to try to continue to drive or not, quite frankly.
Well, we talked about it. You know, when he came back up, there was a lot of high expectations when he came back up out of the Xfinity Series into the Sprint Cup, and it just did not work out well. Yeah. Seems like he was comfortable down there in that secondary series. You know, Elliott Sadler, we talked about it several times over the past couple weeks with these guys, and it's just – it's one of the things that it's not your time.
This wasn't
not your series. It's
yeah.
not the fit.
Right.
Maybe going back down or something, but of course we don't know.
I think if
anything.
he wanted to continue his racing, he could do good things. We've seen him do good things at the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that it's in the cards for him to do any higher. I'm a little surprised with the success that he had, and I understand where he feels like he had climbed to the top of the mountain and done everything that he could in the Verizon IndyCar Series. I don't know why you wouldn't stick there, though, because you know that you do that well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So it's a little weird to me.
I'm finding this Brian Scott edition a little odd, though. I mean, you'd think you would.
More people leaving Richard Childress Racing.
Well, we are starting to see that a lot more as the time goes on. But the thing is what is it that Brian Scott's going to bring to this 9 Ford team that Sam Hornish Jr. couldn't? I think that this, other than the fact that he's got a built-in sponsor,
probably,
so to speak.
Yeah, but probably. Likely, again, not announced officially, but it is thought that that's what's going to be done.
But, I mean, for Brian Scott to step in, don't think he's going to do anything major.
This does more for Brian Scott, I think, than it does for Richard Petty Motorsports.
Yeah.
Because Brian Scott, as a rookie, which he would be eligible to run that, he's 27 years old. He's got a lot of miles on him, so to speak. And again, he doesn't have any wins in the Xfinity Series. That doesn't mean anything necessarily. We saw Tony Stewart, for example, go 2 years as a part-time / full-time driver in what was then the Busch Series before he became a Rookie of the Year, winning 3 races in his first season as a Sprint Cup Series, now Sprint Cup Series driver.
Yeah.
He never won anything in the secondary series until after he moved up into the Cup Series. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to have success at the Cup level, but to me, over 6 years, if you don't have a win, that tells me something.
That's exactly what I'm looking at, the fact that he doesn't have a win in that secondary series. He's been good. He's been there, but he's just not able to finish. We talk about it on the show every week. You have to have the beginning, the middle, and the end. He never has the end. He's got the beginning and the middle down packed. That's why I don't see anything really transpiring when it comes to him jumping in that 9 Ford Fusion. Don't look for something quick. And if you are looking for something quick, you're going to be let down very fast.
But at this time, I think Richard Petty Motorsports is looking as much at what can we do to keep the car on the track as much as can I get a win out of it. And that's
exactly
where Brian Scott and his likely built-in sponsor comes in.
That's exactly it. That's the only reason.
All right. Things continuing to, I guess I should say, over at Stewart-Haas Racing. They've announced they've hired yet another former Michael Waltrip Racing employee. With Michael Waltrip Racing now no more, Stewart-Haas Racing has taken the organization's pit crew coach, Walt Smith. Now, it is thought it will be a similar position beginning with the 2016 season. I'll get back to that in a second. Smith has been a pit crew coach for Hendrick Motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, which then, of course, morphed into Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, and then he left there and joined Michael Waltrip Racing, all to do the same thing. The hiring has the contributors at jski.com, one of our sources for gathering information so that we can present it to you in one nice, easy format here on the Fastest Hour on Radio, has them confused because Stewart-Haas Racing already has not just one but 2 crew coaches, Joe Piette and Kevin Sharp. Both are still on staff. Both are successful. Joe Piette was the leader of Tony Stewart's pit crew as he went to a championship in 2011. Piette and Kevin Sharp worked together to get Kevin Harvick's pit crew, which actually was partially Tony Stewart's pit crew for at least part of the year in 2014, but led them to the title. So what does this gentleman now do? What does Walt Smith come in and do?
Maybe overall pit crew coach.
Maybe he watches over Piette and Sharp?
I don't know. Maybe they're going to put one on each car just straight up.
So then they would need one more.
Well, there's no hope for the other car. But for those 3, you could really have one guy that could just kind of go over and say, yeah, good job, guys, keep up the good work kind of thing. But you can actually put one coach to each crew and really concentrate.
It is possible to do that. It is also possible that, like you said, with his experience, Hendrick Motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, then as that morphed into Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, Michael Waltrip Racing, maybe he comes in and maybe he sees something that Piette and Sharp missed.
It's possible.
I mean, fresh set of eyes can't hurt.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Congratulations out to Roush Fenway Racing driver Trevor Bayne on the birth of his daughter on Thursday. Trevor and Ashton Bayne, there's quite a name, Ashton. Ashton Bayne announced through Trevor Bayne's Twitter account that they are the proud parents of a baby girl that they have named Elizabeth Kate. Congratulations. I would say congratulations to Dale Earnhardt Jr., but during an off week earlier on this year when he took his then-girlfriend on a trip out of the country, trying to kind of track down his heritage in the country of Germany, while he was there, popped the question, she accepted, so now they are engaged to be married. He and his fiancée, Amy Reinman, have said that because NASCAR dragged its feet in releasing their 2016 Sprint Cup Series schedule, they couldn't get married during the season like they kind of wanted to do next year, so he said that the couple has yet to set an actual date, but it will likely happen in the wintertime between 2016 and 2017.
So basically, NASCAR, you need to get your stuff together and get the schedule out a little faster, so that way your most popular driver in the Sprint Cup Series could, get married.
Actually, there are a lot of women out there that are going,
yes,
wait a little longer. Maybe he'll realize that this isn't really the person for him, and then I've still got a chance.
Yeah, I can see Mary sitting home on her couch right now. She goes, yes, his wedding's messed up by NASCAR. I'm so happy.
Just a little longer. little longer. And one more, unfortunately, sad note. NASCAR lost a member of the family on Thursday. It was learned that 1981 Cup Series Rookie of the Year Ron Bouchard passed away. Bouchard began his racing career near his hometown of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, won 37 races in his time racing modifieds at Thompson Speedway in Connecticut. It was there that he was signed to drive at the top level of NASCAR. Over his time between 1981 and 1987, he started 160 races, winning at Talladega in his rookie year. Not any small feat, by the way.
Right.
No restrictor plates back then.
That's right.
That was his 11th overall start as well, one of the fastest rookies to ever claim a win. Also, he's notable for his sweep of the two 1984 then Busch Series events at Darlington Raceway. Bouchard's racing accomplishments landed him a spot in the New England Auto Racers Hall of Fame. After his racing career, he went into the car business, opened up his own racing museum. It's filled with memorabilia from his racing career. It's at the car dealership that the family runs in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. He also ran his own line of localized auto parts stores. Ron Bouchard Auto Parts posted on its Facebook page on Thursday that Bouchard had passed away early that morning at the age of 67 years old. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his friends. One more note on the Cup Series here, and this deals with Miss Coors Light. Kind of a strange one. Most people don't think about Miss Coors Light. We think Miss Sprint Cup. Miss Coors Light, what? Pole Award winner. For the past 6 years, in addition to at least one of the three ladies tabbed as Miss Sprint Cup, there is a Miss Coors Light. The woman tabbed on any given season to be on hand at each track to help present the Coors Light Pole Award to the winner of the pole position for both the Sprint Cup and the Xfinity Series events. It's a program that overall, Miss Coors Light specifically, is coming to an end, according to the current Miss Coors Light. The beer maker, again, going to continue to sponsor the Pole Award. They just won't have the woman out there presenting the award. The lady's name, as she is currently titled, is Amanda Mertz. Posted on her Facebook account, quote, "I am sad to announce that Coors Light is going through a rebranding budget cut phase, and they had to make a last-second decision. No longer be a Miss Coors Light program within the sport of NASCAR." She was only actually the second person to hold the title of Miss Coors Light. She took over this year in April for Rachel Payton. Payton was named the first one back in 2010 and finally decided, for whatever reason, to step down from that slot, and Amanda Mertz took it over. All done.
Yep, that's it. It's over with now.
We still get to read the sponsorship, though.
Yes.
That said, we had talked about a guest coming on from Pinton Speedway down in Lafayette, Alabama. His name is Clint. Hi, Clint. Welcome into the fastest hour in radio. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are y'all guys doing?
We're doing really, really well. Appreciate you calling in at kind of a fairly early hour. And for those people who are still kind of trying to learn here, obviously what we deal with, NASCAR, top three levels, Indycar, Formula One, a little bit of Formula E as we are getting into it. But we're also expanding out a little bit into some more of the localized racing, probably in about, 15 minutes or so. We'll probably talk to late model Mark from Talladega Short Track. Tell us a little bit about Pinton Speedway.
Well, Pinton Raceway is definitely a grassroots racetrack. It's where a lot of the top drivers got their start. We're just a level or two ahead of Carry and Shine down a dirt road. We've got a nice little racetrack up in northern Chambers County of eastern central Alabama. We're a family fun park. We pretty much like to cater to the fans who used to go at the honky tonks. They have kids now. You want to take the whole family somewhere, have fun, bumping, good time, and watching cars go round and round.
Okay. Dirt track, asphalt track?
Oh, of course, dirt track.
Dirt track,
baby.
Okay. How big?
Yeah, asphalt's for getting there. We say we're a 3/8 of a mile, but that's probably only if you go off the track and then drive around to get back on. It's going to be closer to a bull ring. Bigger than a quarter mile, smaller than 3/8, depends where you are. On the
nice, cozy little track out there.
Oh, yeah.
Is it high banked or fairly flat?
High banked, and it's one of those crazy tracks where each turn is its own different animal. And I used to race out there before I started working there. Turn 1, if you don't get turn 1 right, you're off the track at the end of turn 2. Turn 3 and 4, you get your nose down toward the wall on the inside and just ride the gas on around and then head up toward the flag stand. And if you touch the wall on the way and clap flag man's hands, then you're probably getting a fast lap.
I understand. Tell us a little bit about the kind of speeds people can expect there in about a give or take 3/8 mile track. What's the track record? Do you know?
400 miles an hour.
I like it.
I like that.
That was as he went off the backstretch when the nitrous button wouldn't go off.
Yes.
I would dare to say, because I've been to small tracks before. I've never had my radar gun at Penton, but I've been to small tracks, and I've been radaring the guys as they come around the apex of the corner, so it's the slowest part of the corner. And the family's sitting beside me, and they say, "How fast is he going? How fast is he going?" And I'm looking down, it's like 43, 43, 43. I say, 98. Yeah, and they're all cheering. So I don't really know exactly the speeds. I know that being such a small track, our record times are very low, but then again, it is a small track. It's definitely a driver's track. I've been to, worked at, and raced at other tracks that are the big 3/8 tracks, and those are like the super highway compared to Penton. Our owner is a race car driver himself. It's a racing family, so they pride themselves on having a nice, slick, tacky surface from the bottom to the top. However, the track itself is an animal that has to be tamed, and it will throw a change at you.
I bet it will. What kind of series do you run every week? And I did before Dustin and I started working at Talladega Super Speedway. I worked at Birmingham International Raceway. We had 6 different divisions. Late model Mark from Talladega Short Track, he talks about having 6 different divisions on most weekends. How about you guys?
We have different divisions now. When you talk about series coming in, we do have, of course, as most of the tracks do, we have our series of races coming in. We're a Neesmith Performance Chevrolet sponsored. I guess we're an affiliate track. So our late models each week will run for regional points. As you know, all the different tracks, they race against each other on the internet, and then once or twice a year, the touring series with the Neesmith Touring will come through. They'll bring all of the regional drivers with them, and then we get to watch our locals take on the big guns, and that's in the late models. And then we have the super late models come down with the Neesmith Chevy Performance cars as well.
Nice.
Then our weekly racing series, and this is where my love is. I like to watch the cars that actually look like cars go round and round. We've got our Limited Sportsman. That's kind of, as you could guess, Limited Sportsman, most clip cars, and iron heads, some aluminum heads, depending on which motor they're running and how much weight they have to sling out the back. We've got our Bandit cars, which are what you would consider the old school hobby cars, ones where you're still using the original sheet metal for the most part. You can tell the Chevys from the Fords, and those are the kind of cars that are funnest to watch because they'll get into each other every now and then. They do actually go sideways, and certainly not perfect. And then we move on to our hobbies, which is just a step up between the Bandits and the Limiteds. And you are starting to get some of the sheet metal bodies, more of the wedge-shaped cars, and they are really high-tech under the skin now these days. I know, as you guys know in racing, every year they get more and more high-tech and faster and faster.
Absolutely, they do. Tell us how we can find out a little bit more about the track.
Okay, you can go on Facebook and search Penton Raceways. Just be friendly with us, like us on Facebook. We'll be sure to send you all sorts of updates on what's happening with the new year coming. We have a website, pentraceways.com, and I always have to say add the S on the end. Such a to-do over a couple of extra S's, but if you don't put the S on the end, you'll get the go-kart track. So pentraceways.com. And it'll tell us, I'm sitting here looking at it right now, looking at our schedule from last year. I think you guys are in North Alabama. You know as well as I that we are praying for we need rain for the fields. But,
yeah, I know.
But
I'll tell you what, Clint, we have to take a break. Can we hold you over here for a couple of minutes?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Absolutely. Hold on for me, and we'll come right back. We'll talk a little bit more with Clint, probably late model Mark, and a whole lot more news here on the Fastest Hour on radio.
The only show that covers NASCAR, Indycar, and Formula One. The Fastest Hour in radio on Superstation 101.
Hey, welcome back in. Fastest Hour in radio rolling on here on this Saturday, the 12th of December. And probably a little bit later on, we'll be talking with late model Mark from Talladega Short Track, and you two are connected. We're talking right now with Clint from Penton Speedway down in Lafayette, down in Chambers County, and you two are connected in the fact that both of you guys host the Neesmith late models at your tracks. Mm-hmm. So very, very cool stuff. When we left off, we were talking about how they could find out a little bit more about the track. So you've got your Facebook page, you got the website. In the process of it, family-friendly, I would assume?
Oh, of course, yeah. We, I'm not going to say that alcohol is prohibited from the track, but at our track, everybody, because we're out in the country, everybody pretty much keeps a level head. I've never seen anybody get loud and stupid at our track, and it's out in the country like that, we're all God-fearing folks, and so it's definitely family-friendly. We love having the kids out. We love having candy for the kids each time they come. We have prizes for the kids during our big Neesmith shows.
Nice.
And Mike and Roby and the guys come out, and they put on a big party for us. And we always make sure to have tons of American flags and T-shirts and cool gifts for the kids when they come. And so we want the kids, even if they're not interested in watching cars go round and round, when their parents tell them, let's go watch racing, we want the kids to jump up and down and go, yay! And so it's definitely family-friendly. And that's what racing is all about. Even if the kids, and, I've never noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but kids can sleep through the feature events, even with no mufflers.
It's amazing what they can sleep through.
It is. It is.
And so we, at the beginning of it, maybe it's all the candy and they're coming down from it, but
there it is.
We try to have fun for everybody. We want the kids to come out and have a fun time. And eventually we want the kids to go get their own race car later on, because as you know, we can go out there, we can have music, we can have candy, we can have fun, and we can get the crowd to get up and, cheer for America. But without the drivers, without the cars, without the teams, the families that help put it on, racing doesn't exist. And that's what I just want all of our friends listening on Superstation to know, that please come out and let's put on some good racing this year. Let's get cars side by side, and let's get the fans up cheering, because the drivers in the cars are the stars at the racetrack.
When does your season actually begin? I know that you're, in the off season, just like pretty much everybody else is. When does your season officially begin?
We usually start second weekend in April. At least this year we started. Last year, I guess we started on the April 17th, and then we go all the way through August 7th. First or second week in August, and you may say, well, why so early do we end? And we are Friday night track, and that's something that I neglected to bring out already. Friday night stock car racing, football Fridays with high school really kind of kills our crowd, and even the race car drivers, they're so into football around here that there's no sense coming out. And of course, we can give the scores to the football teams, but it's just we're a football area here, and Friday night belongs to football.
Okay. Well, that being said, if you are not worried about football, then you can do kind of a nice little doubleheader. We were talking about it during the break here, Dustin and I, in the fact that we could do Friday night at Pinton and then Saturday at Talladega.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, y'all are welcome anytime. And when you were talking about late model Mark, I've worked with him before, and I surely hope he gets to come on the show, because he's a character and he's a hoot, and I've enjoyed working with him. He's a real professional. So I hope we get to wake up, Mark. Let's get on the radio.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure he'll be calling here pretty shortly. Well, Clint, it is a pleasure to actually finally get to talk with you. Hopefully, we'll get the chance to meet with you and get down there and actually show up and check out the racing at Pinton.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You call anytime, and I will add 2 more microphones, and we'll have a big old time.
That sounds like a plan. Really like it. Thank you very much for calling in, and don't be a stranger. Call back anytime you want.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you guys.
All right, take care now, Clint. We appreciate it. And again, this is something that we're going to be doing more and more as we go on, and Late Model Mark is going to help with this as well, kind of because he knows some of these people. This was just one of those happenstance meetings that came across.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to run into, and that's the greatest thing, especially when two people realize that they're both racing community people. It's like everything else just goes away.
The world suddenly gets a little bit smaller.
That's right. That's
happens. Right. You can call in, by the way, live version of the show here on a Saturday morning, 941-1011, toll free 866-551-9933. Plenty of ways for you to get a hold of us on social media. Obviously, our Facebook page, facebook.com/thefastesthour on radio.
You can also find us on Twitter @fastesthour, as well as Instagram @fastesthour. Website coming soon.
There you go.
I'm just going to keep putting it out there.
and like you have to do in racing, we in a racing show have to thank our sponsor, which is Wild Vapors down in Sylacauga. And in this particular case, what I want to talk about has to do with a report that came out. And reports that come out, quite frankly, Dustin, they can be easily disputed if you go in and you start looking at facts.
Yeah.
We hear Monday through Friday, Superstation 101, whether you're talking about the guys through Andrea Lindenberg into Yellowhammer Radio into Leland Live or Michael Hart, what we do is we look at it from a political angle and we start to pick apart reports and say, okay, we can tell where it is biased for or against said person or said candidate.
Yeah.
Same thing here. A report came down, purportedly, from Harvard University, linking e-cigarettes to what they call popcorn cancer.
Yeah, popcorn lung, yep.
Yeah. Start looking into the facts, start scratching the surface, and suddenly what looked to be gold suddenly becomes lead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We talk about our good friends Eddie and Shelly down at Wild Vapors and how knowledgeable they are. One of the reasons they got into the business that they're in now is because of these extra ingredients that are being put into juices out there that are harmful to you. Now, the thing about the study is the fact that it's what's causing the popcorn lung, they're saying, is called diacetyl.
Okay.
And it's a flavoring that is like a buttery flavor, a custard type flavor.
Okay.
Now, the funny thing about this is this fact. This diacetyl that everybody's talking about that's been linked to e-cigarettes and all this other stuff is because people don't know what they're putting in their juice.
Right.
You don't have that problem at Wild Vapors in Sylacauga. What the diacetyl is anybody who's worked in the popcorn industry, the microwave popcorn.
Which is why this is being called popcorn cancer.
Popcorn lung is caused by diacetyl. And that's the problem is this stuff is getting into juice because people just put whatever they feel like putting in there. And then you have problems, like we talked about the sucralose and stuff like that.
In trying to do a mass production, if you will, of juices,
yes,
which a lot of these companies will try to do, they're going to try and do it the fastest, most convenient way for them so they can get the product up on the shelves.
Right.
And in this case, you're talking artificial sweeteners. We've talked about sucralose before.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, a diacetyl, which will help with as you mentioned, kind of a buttery flavoring. It's a shortcut.
That's definitely a shortcut. And that's the thing at Wild Vapors, you're not going to find shortcuts. Eddie and Shelly stand behind their product that they make their own juice in an off-site clean room. I've seen it myself. I've helped them out. I know exactly what's in each of those juices that they put out there. And the biggest thing about the diacetyl is, and this is one thing I didn't see in the study because now there's other stuff coming out about people saying, well, they didn't say this. Diacetyl can be found in cigarettes.
Oops.
Yeah, so you can talk about one-sided all you want, but if you want knowledgeable, if you want information, it's very easy. You get out there, you get it yourself. Don't trust everything that you just go out there and you see posted on the internet because it might be somebody's opinion. If you want the true information, got to go down to Sylacauga, to the Walmart shopping center, or down to Alex City over there by CAC, and go see our good friends Eddie and Shelly at Wild Vapors, open Monday noon to 6 p.m. and Tuesday through Saturday 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Get the information.
There is a reason we tell you to go the extra mile and talk to Eddie and Shelly because they have done the research.
Yes.
They know where the pitfalls are in this industry, and they have gone around them.
And you can find them on Facebook, too, and you can see where Shelly puts up all this information that she digs up, so that way you can see it. Find them on Facebook, facebook.com/Wild Vapors. You can find them right there.
There you go. With that said, we just got done talking to the track announcer at Pinton Speedway. Now we get to talk about a regular racer and a great friend of the show. Runs out at Talladega short track a lot. Jay Schiller, how are you, sir?
The Thriller.
Oh, we're doing fine. A little tired.
What are you tired about?
He's had a long night.
Yeah, it was a very long night.
What you been working on?
We had a wreck right here on I-20.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, about 2 o'clock this morning. Just now I got done with it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you getting up early in the morning and talking to us, getting ready to go. We were kind of hoping to get into a Christmas parade on Thursday, but everything kind of got a little messed up. But there's a Christmas parade that you're going to be involved with coming up today.
Tonight, exactly. It's in Moody. It starts at 5 o'clock. Looking forward to have Dustin aboard with us tonight. I want to first of all say happy birthday to late Mama Mark. When she's out probably pulling slots right now.
Oh, that's true too. I forgot.
He said he did say if he could.
Said he was going to try.
If he could sneak away, he was going to call. So when we don't say, we won't hear from him, he'll call.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. He's got less than 20 minutes. We'll see if he can get himself rousted and ready to call in. But
this is late model Mark has got him.
Yeah, exactly. So working on the 2016 car as much as you can.
Yeah, we worked on pretty good last night. Put some new body panels on it. Got the new wrap with the 101.1 fastest hour radio logo.
I was about to say, yeah, as you go and watch the car coming up next year, there's going to be a little addition onto the side of the car, which we here, Dustin and I, myself, we sincerely appreciate you making a little room for us.
I look forward to it. It's my pleasure. Y'all are good people, and we like to get the sport, out there in the radio station out there a little further than we have.
And see, this is what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, Jay, is this racing family. You know, we've came out there to Talladega Short Track. We've gotten a chance to hang out with you. We've had you in studio. And it's kind of just become like an awesome friendship between us and Talladega Short Track, us and all the drivers, just like you out there. And I got to tell you, racing family, there's no way you can beat a racing family. Seeing these guys down there, guys and gals down there in the pits, you know, on Saturday night, you know, helping each other out, we talked about on the show. But, you know, having guys like Jay and like Cruz and have late model Mark, we've just become like really cool friends that get to talk racing every week, and it's awesome, man. Thank you so much for everything.
I enjoy it. And I will comment on the Pit and Raceway. That is a nice facility, very nice facility over there. And it is a tough track tango. I haven't raced out there since probably '99, but I've been out there to visit, and it's a good experience. I told Dustin Ford and we talked about it, and y'all need to go out there and try it out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that at some point in time this year. I think we'll try that little doubleheader that we just talked about. Do Pinton one night and Talladega Short Track the next night, and just kind of make a weekend out of it.
Y'all be done double digit, won't you?
Absolutely. We look forward to that thought of it, no doubt about it. Well, we look forward to having the opportunity to be with you a lot more as well. And, of course, as we've mentioned, not only is the phone lines open, but the studio's open to you at any time, Jay.
I appreciate it. And, Dustin, I look forward. I'll see you sometime this afternoon.
All right, buddy.
All right. Take care. We'll be talking with you real soon, okay?
Okay, bud.
Try and get you some rest.
I will.
All right. Been out at work since 2 o'clock in the morning cleaning up a wreck on I-20. Man, that's...
Yeah, I was talking to him earlier about it, you know. But Jay's one of them guys. He's a cool guy. 2015 track champion out there at Talladega Short Track in his division, as a matter of fact. So definitely cool having him on board.
Very cool stuff. Let's do one more note here. I've been kind of trying to get some of this Forbes stuff because they actually did.
You like this Forbes stuff?
Well, they rated the amount of money made by not only the Sprint Cup Series but Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series. But we got so much other news here. I'm just going to skip over that and we're going to be done with it.
Okay.
Austin Wayne Self. I do want to mention this. Austin Wayne Self. He's been hired to be the driver in the first season of AM Racing in the Camping World Truck Series. It's a just formed team for NASCAR. They're going to field Toyota Tundra pickups for Self. It'll bear the number 22. And at this time, he is expected to drive the full slate of races in 2016. Self will also be competing for the Rookie of the Year award. Over the past 2 years, Self has been in the ARCA Racing Series. He has a win at Winchester earlier this year. He claimed second in the series points as well this year. AM Racing has formed a partnership. This is pretty good for them. Toyota Racing Development, obviously, they've partnered up with Kyle Busch Motorsports. They're going to run KBM chassis. So they'll do the bodies and the engines and all that kind of stuff with TRD, but they're going to get the chassis from KBM. You can't really complain about that.
No, you cannot at all.
Good track record there.
Yeah, definitely.
There's been a deal struck to where a famed name could be returning to Indy in the form of a third generation of that family. 21-year-old Matthew Brabham, he's an Australian native, struck a deal with a company named Pirtek, P-I-R-T-E-K. It's reportedly an international fluid transfer specialist company, whatever that does. They're going to sponsor a ride for the 2016 Indy 500. The team he'll drive for is Team Murray. It's run by an Australian race promoter by the name of Brett Crusher Murray. Why would I figure an Australian would have the nickname of Crusher? It just seems appropriate, doesn't it?
It
does. Crusher Murray, by the way, he has teamed up with KV Motorsports. They're going to put the car out on the track. Brabham, should he qualify, would bring back the framed Brabham name to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His grandfather, I should say, is likely the best known. His name, Sir Jack Brabham, Formula One legend, pioneered the rear-engine racer at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which has now been the norm for 4+ decades. But it was very unusual in 1961 when Jack Brabham finished 9th in the very first rear-engine racing entry ever at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Second generation is Jeff. That's Matt's father. He qualified for 10 Indy 500s. Fortunately for him, he never won one. Matt has chosen the number 61 to appear on the side of his IndyCar racer. That's the number his grandfather drove in his one and only Indy 500.
Man, that is so cool. Such a great story.
Yeah,
it
great
is.
stories like that.
Love that.
Matthew, by the way, has been racing down in Australia. He is pretty decent down there in the Australian V8 Supercar Series, which is about the closest equivalent you're going to find to stock car racing down in Australia. Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports has announced they've signed Mikhail Elation to a contract to run the entire 2016 schedule for that team. Elation has been a part-time driver for the team over the past 2 years. He's run 18 events over that time. He's going to team up with James Hinchcliffe for the organization. Elation's going to drive the number 7 Honda Power entry. Hinch will be number 5. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing announced that the restaurant chain Steak and Shake is set to return as a sponsor of the driver Graham Rahal. Will act as a primary sponsor for 5 events this upcoming season. Rest of the season, the sponsor will act as an associate sponsor. Among the events the restaurant will be primary on the car include the season opener at St. Petersburg. Also going to be the primary sponsor on the car for both events in May at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This was big because before David Letterman retired, which was less than a year ago now, it seems in some ways it's been a lot longer, anytime they were the primary sponsor and Graham Rahal had a top 5 finish, David Letterman, through Steak and Shake, would give shakes to everybody in his audience.
You can't pass up a shake.
No, not from Steak and Shake either. Pretty good stuff.
I haven't had one.
We'll have to go there sometime.
Okay.
One more IndyCar note. Connor Daly is getting another chance at the Indy 500. He's been entered so far in 6 Verizon IndyCar Series events since the 2013 Indy 500, his first chance at it, when then he was picked up by A.J. Foyt Racing to do it. He's been pursuing a full-time ride, he says, for years. Well, Dale Coyne Racing has made it happen. He installed the now 24-year-old son of former Indy 500 winner Derek Daly into the number 18 Honda-powered entry. Sponsorship not yet announced. They say that will happen at a later date. With the name of Connor Daly, Derek Daly's son, I would imagine performance obviously comes with the territory, but it should open some doors, sponsorship-wise at least.
And sometimes that does take place where you get those doors open for you. So for Connor, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. We should be able to announce something like that, sometime soon, hopefully.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Last Friday night, just like NASCAR had, FIA, the governing body for Formula One, held that series postseason award ceremony where, despite knowing it for the past 5 races of the year, Lewis Hamilton Mercedes officially picked up their series champion and Manufacturers' Cup hardware. Big winner of the night, other than those two, was Max Verstappen. The driver who turned 18 during this past season, still freaking out about that, was named Rookie of the Year, voted on by his fellow drivers.
I like that.
Verstappen was also named by the Formula One media as the Personality of the Year. He also got the Overtaking Move of the Year for his move on Felipe Nasser on the outside at the Belgian Grand Prix way back in April, I want to say. The FIA handed the title of Best Promoter in the 2016 season for the organizers of the Mexican Grand Prix, which reappeared on the Formula One calendar for the first time in almost 2 decades this past season. As a race, it was quite the rousing success. Did you see it?
I did see it. I'm not that I'm like thrilled by it or anything, but how fitting that the best promoter would be the Mexican Grand Prix. They just so happened to come back on the schedule this year, and then we gave it to them.
Next year, they'll give it to another new race.
Exactly. If you kind of follow that along, you'll see.
Yes, we'll let you know about it next year.
Yeah.
McLaren enduring a tough transition over to Honda power plants for the 2015 season. We've been talking about that quite a bit. It's enough to prompt them to block Honda from supplying Infinity Red Bull racing engines for 2016 because they wanted to build up the quality and the power of the engine, not splitting their time between 2 teams. However, McLaren official Ron Dennis knows Honda eventually is going to spread out to some other teams because of a recent discussion of the Formula One Commission, a meeting of all the teams on the grid. He said he could see Sauber being the first team to join Honda. I found that fairly interesting.
Yeah.
Increasing pressure from both F1 head Bernie Ecclestone and FIA president Jean Todt, according to Dennis, should have Honda supplying more than one team beginning in 2017. It led Dennis to seek out the heads of some of the other teams to determine their interests. Sauber's boss, Monisha Kaltenborn, admitted talking to Dennis, but insisted it was only a discussion of possibilities and that nothing was imminent. Dennis said that he felt that Sauber would be a good fit as he didn't necessarily see them as a, quote, direct competition. I think that's pretty much a slap in the face to Sauber, isn't it?
I'm thinking that's pretty much not just a slap in the face, but more like a punch in the mouth.
And by the way, let me remind you that Sauber Racing pretty much slaughtered McLaren all year long, Ron Dennis.
Yeah, I don't know if he was actually keeping tabs on that, but that did happen.
We were.
Yeah, we did.
Job.
As we do.
Found this weird story. The FIA has cleared Scuderia Ferrari and Haas F1 team from any wrongdoing following an investigation into their technical cooperation, specifically the use of wind tunnels. Mercedes was concerned how much Ferrari was getting from the partnership with Haas F1 as the new-to-the-grid team was using Maranello's wind tunnel in developing their 2016 racer. FIA stewards cleared both the teams since Haas F1 was not a 2015 competitor, but intimated they're going to be watching that partnership as they move ahead. So Gene Haas and everybody over there at Ferrari need to be very careful. By the way, Gene, there's a wind tunnel in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, use it.
Just saying. Officials with Formula One's governing body, the aforementioned FIA, state that they clarified the definition of rules related to sharing data regarding aerodynamics among teams. It's a no-no in the rule book, by the way. Among the restrictions is a sharing of employees or a seconding of employees with the intention of helping them with aero or technical aspects, the intent of bringing them back to the first company. So don't know as that actually happened. Mercedes, though, is still less than happy with their closest competitors for top honor. They sued a Scuderia Ferrari employee. They say that that person stole confidential data and documents from them. His name, Benjamin Hoyle, was the performance application team leader at Mercedes-AMG, but said earlier this year that when his contract was up at the beginning of December, he'd be leaving and going to work for Ferrari. Mercedes claims that Hoyle searched their computers for and saved files that included, quote, a race report for the 2015 Hungarian Grand Prix, mileage and data, damage data related to engines, and files containing codes required to decrypt raw race data files, unquote. The team alleges that despite learning of his intent to leave to go to Ferrari and downgrading his role to limit exposure, Hoyle was caught attempting to access that confidential information, then later deleting files in order to conceal what he had been attempting to do. The team wants their documents returned, they want payment of all legal fees, and they're attempting to block Hoyle from joining Scuderia Ferrari or any other Formula One team until after the 2016 season.
This is like Spygate?
It gets deeper. Ferrari responded to the scandal by saying Hoyle had never been offered a contract for 2016. In talking to Reuters, a Ferrari spokesperson said, quote, there were talks, but nothing led to a formal contract. He's not even going to join us in the foreseeable future. It's not true that he was on the verge of joining us. What he did concerns only him and the company he was working for. We are not involved in this.
Hoyle. Benjamin Hoyle.
Wow.
It sounds like a James Bond movie. It really does.
Sounds like a really bad plot for a James Bond
It
movie,
does.
yes.
It sounds like they're reaching deep for it, but wow, that's just nuts.
Man. As for Gene Haas, who we just talked about, he's already looking toward the future of his team and who might end up taking over a seat of one of his racers in the future. Of course, Haas first announced he'd signed Romain Grosjean away from Lotus. He then brought Ferrari reserve driver Esteban Gutierrez on board to pilot in the inaugural season of the U.S.-based team, so he's got his two drivers. Now he's looking at a Euro F3 star to jump up and take over the role of test and development within Haas F1. His name is Charles Leclerc. He's expected to be signed by the Ferrari Driver Academy with the expectation that they would then turn him over to Haas F1.
Getting stuff set.
Oh, could the dream lineup at Mercedes be over? It's possible. Winning just about everything they can over the past couple of years, apparently not enough to keep things calm between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. We've talked about it over the past couple of years.
Yeah, there's a rift over there.
Toto Wolff, head of Mercedes racing efforts, has said that should the tension between the two drivers, it could end up forcing a lineup change if things don't ease up between the two. Wolff, in looking back over the past 2 years, says seeing Hamilton win the Drivers' Championship with teammate Rosberg finishing second both times, said that the testy relationship between his two drivers is the team's, quote, biggest weakness, unquote. He was talking to motorsport.com and said, quote, we struggle sometimes in winning races on Sunday, having always one driver upset, and this spills over into the team. It's something that needs to stop. I think it is important to have talented and fast drivers in the cars, but we want to work with nice guys. Can you do that in Formula One?
Apparently not.
Wolff said that the team does not have team orders, but media caught a radio disagreement between Hamilton and pit officials over a change in engine modes in Sunday's season finale, or a couple of weeks ago in Sunday's season finale at Abu Dhabi, left him 8 seconds behind his teammate. The report says Rosberg is signed with Mercedes through next season. Hamilton is signed through 2018. If you were going to get rid of one, not that you'd want to, who would it be?
I think you almost kind of have to get rid of Rosberg.
You think so?
Only due to the fact that who's been winning the championship.
That said,
but
no less than legend Sir Jackie Stewart says Rosberg has a better than even chance of winning the championship 2016. Does that change your mind?
That could change my mind. If he can go out there and outperform Lewis Hamilton. But there's stuff that we just don't know. But we saw the video of the one race, as a matter of fact, I think we were both looking at it, where Hamilton won the race. They were in that back room getting prepped to come out to the podium.
Yeah.
And he tossed that thing over towards Rosberg, and Rosberg just chucked it back at him.
And they said later that it was playful.
Yeah, that was not playful.
Didn't look playful.
If that was an arrow, it would have it would have gone right through Hamilton.
Yeah, it would have. Officials with Team Lotus say they expect few, if any, changes to the team for 2016. Lotus's tech director, Nick Chester, said he expects the driver lineup of Pastor Maldonado and the previously named replacement for Romain Grosjean, Joylan Palmer, to remain. Renault-Nissan chief executive Carlos Ghosn was quoted last week saying that Renault would talk about drivers and partners before the 2016 season began, likely next month. However, Chester said contracts are signed. He expects nothing driver-wise to change, at least going into the 2016 year. Renault has also stated an intent to start with a clean slate, and they promise to pay off all of Lotus's debts by December the 31st. That is not an insignificant amount of money, by the way.
No.
2016 U.S. Grand Prix, slated for October 23rd at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, has been included on the provisional 2016 Formula One calendar, but it has also been marked as, quote, subject to agreement, unquote. That's not a good sign. COTA head Bobby Epstein, as we reported on this show a couple of weeks ago, said this year's race, happening on the weekend that a hurricane landed off the western coast of Mexico, and while dissipating in severity caused a lot of rain to fall on Saturday and early Sunday of race weekend, it did move out in time to get the race in, but it scared off a whole lot of fans, and Epstein called it, quote, financially devastating, unquote. It was a statement that then put into question whether the course could afford to pay the fee to get Formula One back in 2016 and beyond. As for the rest of the racing schedule, the number of races, should the U.S. Grand Prix remain, up to 21. The inclusion of the new European Grand Prix in Baku, Azerbaijan. There's your new 2016 Promoter of the Year. And the return of the German Grand Prix. The 2016 season, if the schedule is approved, will begin with the Australian Grand Prix, March 20th. Canadian Grand Prix happens June 12th. A break from August 1st to the weekend of August 28th. Again, should it happen, U.S. Grand Prix October 23rd. A week later, the Mexican Grand Prix. Season finale takes place November 27th in Abu Dhabi. There you go. And quite some time ago, weird note here, we let you know there was a dispute about who was and who was not an heir to the estate of former Formula One legend Juan Manuel Fangio.
I remember that. Okay.
Fangio passed away July 17th, 1995, and at the request of his family was exhumed for a paternity case test. Now, Fangio never married, personally did not state he knew of any children that he had fathered, but an Andrea Barouette disputed the claim, said that she'd had a relationship with his driver back in his heyday of the 1950s, and said she had a child. Well, following a DNA test, 77-year-old Oscar Espinoza has officially been proven to be a match.
Uh-oh.
Announced Wednesday, he says he has an intent to change his last name to Fangio with the now revelation. There is another case out there brought by a man by the name of Ruben Vasquez, but here's the thing. If you look at the test results and then look at the math, it doesn't work out. Espinoza's 77. The 1950s